G'day guys, my name's Dredio, and this is my 6.2.4 Unholy Dk Pvp guide. Now in this guide I'm going to go over things like talents, glyphs, gear and enchants, a couple of the add-ons that I use, though there's not very many, and also I'm going to go into an arena and show you how I play Unholy, give you some tips on Unholy gameplay that might help you get a little bit better if you're new to the spec or if you haven't tried it before, and show you that Unholy can be just as competitive in PvP as Frost. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Okay, first up we're going to have a look at some talents. On the first tier, Plague Leech has a 25-second cooldown. It removes your diseases from the target, but it resets 2 fully depleted runes as death runes, and death runes can be used as any other form of rune, blood, frost or unholy. On the second tier, Lichborn has a 2-minute cooldown and makes you immune to fears, charms and sleeps, and when paired with the death coil macro can add some extra healing. Third is Chillblains. Chillblains gives your Chains of Ice a 3-second root and your Frost Fever a 50% slow. On the fourth tier, Blood Tap. Blood Tap stores up charges of Blood Tap with every 15 runic power that you spend, and it allows you to consume those charges and reset any depleted runes as a death rune. Tier 5, Death Siphon is the best on tier 5 in my opinion for healing. It costs 1 death rune and it heals you for 400% of the damage done with Death Siphon. On the 6th tier, Desecrated Ground is basically a free trinket and it's full immunity while you stand on Desecrated Ground. So keeping a target there via Chains of Ice or Death Grip is really good. And on the final tier, Necrotic Plague is by far the strongest in my opinion. Unholy has one added benefit when taking Necrotic Plague. Festering Strike increases the duration of it and keeps it at its maximum stack. So when you get Necrotic Plague to 15 stacks, as long as you're festering once every, I believe it's about 12 or 15 seconds, you're keeping it at that maximum stack of 15, which makes the damage that it does incredibly strong. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at glyphs. The first glyph that I use is Icy Touch, which basically just gives your Icy Touch a dispel. If you're fighting something like a Disc Priest, which puts a 100k shield on himself, spending 1 Frost rune to remove it with an Icy Touch is much better than having to deal damage through the shield. The second glyph that I use is Shifting Presence. So when you're in Unholy Presence, and if you feel the need to shift into Blood Presence, which is a good defensive, especially when you're being trained, without this glyph you will lose all your runic power, which means that you're losing damage and you're also losing healing. So if you use this glyph, it means that you retain 70% of the runic power when you shift, which I feel is really good. The third glyph that I use most of the time is Anti-Magic Shell, which just increases the duration by 3 seconds. There are a few other options you can use. You can use things like Absorb Magic, which massively increases the amount of magic damage that it absorbs. Dark Sim Glyph is also another good choice. Or if you feel that you need the extra healing, you can always take Glyph of Empowerment, which gives your Empowered Rune Weapon a massive 30% of your maximum health heal when you use it. Okay, now we're going to look at some gear. Now the biggest difference between Unholy and Frost in gear is that Unholy, you really need the 4-set bonus. So being that we need the 4-set bonus but we don't need all 5 pieces to get it, the best piece that I found to substitute for a set piece is the chest, because the chest is going to give us our 2 main stats for Unholy, which is Versatility and Mastery. All the other stats are basically useless to an Unholy DK. Our Mastery is our Shadow damage, which is our Pet damage, which is our Gargoyle damage, which is our Disease damage, and which is our Scourge Strike damage. So our Shadow damage coming from our Mastery is really crucial, and Versatility is just a fundamental primary stat for PvP. Reduces the damage we take, it increases the damage we do. You can't really ask for much more than that. So making sure that you get the 4 set through your helm, your gauntlets, your shoulders and your pants, and getting that really nice Mastery Versatility chest. this is going to maximize our damage. Now what the full set does for Unholy is when you use Dark Transformation, it increases your shadow damage by 20% for 15 seconds. That is huge. That is basically a Ret Paladin's wings for 15 seconds. Now, the reason that this is so beneficial for an Unholy DK and it trumps just stacking pure versatility is because our pet damage is directly affected by our damage. So when you get a trinket proc or a weapon proc, the Fallen Crusader proc, which increases our strength, that also increases our pet damage. So the ideal, I guess you could say, burst opportunity would be you want to get Necrotic Plague to a 15 stack on your target. You want to get 5 stacks of Shadow Infusion, which comes from Death Coiling, to get your pet ready to Dark Transform. You want to pop, say, a Mastery Trinket or the Strength Trinket, whichever one you use, to Dark Transform your pet. That will then give you the 20% damage increase, which will then affect your pet's damage. And then you want to use Gargoyle. In that order, you'll notice an insane amount of damage. Now, Gargoyle does have a relatively long cooldown, being 3 minutes, but your pet transformation can be quite short. You can usually get inside of a minute. You can almost get 2 Dark Transforms, which means that you're going to have a lot of uptime on this extra 20% damage. Now, as far as enchants go, you're going to want to enchant for just straight versatility. Versatility is still a really good stat for PvP. I personally still favor Mastery. I'm trying the versatility ones at the moment just to see how much versatility I can get, but as you can see, 75% Mastery self-buffed is really nice. I think when I get into PvP and my gear scales up, and if I get the Paladin buff Might, I think I go to around about 100% Mastery, which just increases my damage exponentially. As far as the trinkets go, I use, because of Desecrated Ground being a free trinket, sometimes in RPGs or in random battlegrounds, I'll run double trinkets for the extra damage. I wouldn't recommend it in arena though. I still do have my normal CC break trinket, which gives you that extra bit of versatility, which is nice damage as well. But for the most part, I use double trinkets. Whenever I'm doing casual PvP or anything like that. So yeah, the enchants are the versatility enchants. You want to make sure that you get your 4 set. I like the chest piece as your off piece, just because it gives the really nice versatility and mastery. And other than that, you want to, all your off pieces like your rings and stuff, you want to try and get as much mastery as possible, or you want to get as much versatility as possible. Okay, so as far as add-ons go, I only really use 2 add-ons for most of my classes, unless I'm playing a caster, then I use 3, I guess you could say. So the first add-on that I use is my arena add-on, which is S Arena, which is basically a slightly more advanced version of the Blizzard standard UI. So it gives you a bigger icon here and gives you the class icon as well. It shows their trinket. It has the class, their class color for their health bars and their energy source. This here is the yellow bars are their cast bars, and the ability here at the end is the ability that they'd be casting, so you can see if someone's polying or fearing. And above these cast bars tracks your DRs. So I can track my Strangulate DR or my Pet Stun DR, so I know if I'm going to be stunning into one of my partner's DRs already, which is obviously not going to be worth it. So it's a very simple and easy to use add-on. It's very lightweight, which I prefer. I don't like a lot of clutter on my screen. That's my arena add-on, and the only other add-on that I use for my DK, because I tend to RBG a lot on my DK being a target caller, is obviously I use battleground targets, which, as I've said in a previous video, I think every class should use. It's amazing. So those are the settings that I use. Gives you a target counter. Being a DK, I typically target call, so I know exactly how many people are targeting my target, and if I need to tell people to get on him or not, you can obviously see the flag carrier debuff there as well, which is really useful. But that's about it for add-ons. I really only use the 2. So yeah, I like to keep my my UI fairly clear, so I can kind of see as much gameplay as possible and not be cluttered up by numbers and add-ons. Okay, so this is the arena that I was going to do, just to give you a quick idea about how I play Unholy and the kill power that it has when you line all your cooldowns up correctly. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.